Hello and welcome to the 2025 Season 3 Week 13 Track Guide by Team Conti Sim Performance. Michael Conti here with the NASCAR NextGen car at the newly released and refreshed Bristol Motor Speedway. So we are going to take a 20-ish lap run around this place and really focus on lane choice and different ways to tackle Bristol. We'll talk about your best line to save tire and make the most over the entire stint speed-wise. We'll also talk about what you want to do on restarts, maybe late race, rubbered-in track, go up the track, find some speed there, and then just some things to think about as you inevitably encounter lapped or slower traffic in your races, which, like I said, inevitable because track's small and we're going real fast. So you're going to hit somebody at some point, possibly literally hit somebody. And yeah, so we're going to take a quick run here, go around the track in the car, pop out of the car, and, talk about things and call it a day. Last week of Season 3, so let's try to finish it off strong with our NIS races this week and have a good week at Bristol. So rolling off here, and we're going to merge onto the track, fifth gear all the way around, none of that shifting nonsense that we've come to know and love in the next-gen car. And these are quick laps. We're talking about 14.5-second laps. So things happen fast here. I'll try to keep up. If I'm talking 1 million miles an hour, that's just the intensity you have to have when you're driving around this track at a competitive speed. So to start out here, like I said, we're going to talk about how to run the track to save tire and to make the most time over the run. That is the bottom. Lots and lots of grip on the bottom of this track, especially after the refresh. That yellow paint is your friend. So you want to enter the corner in such a way that you are not overloading those tires on entry. So you can really pick up that throttle early and have a lot of good, free, neutral handling through the center and up off. So a little bit of brake at both ends, just barely lighting it up. Off the brake as I land into the corner and then right back on the throttle. There's a big bump on the bottom of 1 and 2 as soon as you land, so just watch for that. If you find that you're hitting that bump in 1 and 2 and spinning out, that means you're driving in too hard, so back up the corner. The approach here is very similar to what I love to preach at Dover. Really early lift point, roll in conservatively, but then maximize those corner exits and carry a lot of speed down the straightaway. Back to the throttle. So a little bit of brake through and over the crest and down into the landing zone, a little bit of trail brake, off the brake, back on the throttle. Get that left front as close to the paint or on it as possible. You will feel it grip up and roll through the center and launch up off with a lot of good forward momentum. 3 and 4, that's the sharper end of the track. So you're going to have to bleed a little bit more speed. You're going to feel the front be a little bit tighter. It's going to be a little harder to hook up the rears on exit. It's going to want to snap if you drive through that center tightness and put yourself into a push-loose situation. So just be patient. Be patient. These races are long this week. I think they're full length, if I'm not mistaken. They have been in years past, so 500 laps around Bristol. You get a lot of time, so don't rush it, don't throw it away in the first run or the first 100 laps of the race. Just be patient. Like I said, so if you want to save tire, if you want to make a lot of speed throughout the run, you go ahead and run that bottom. Now, as the bottom gets worn out, which happens pretty quickly when you have 38 cars on track in an NIS race, you're going to have to move up the track. So the first thing you do is you move up about a lane or so. You run a lane off the bottom. Very similar technique. Little brake over the crest and into the landing, followed by free roll and then progressively increasing throttle. But then that lane's going to go away too. And then the lane above it doesn't really do much of anything. You get this middle here right above the seam. It's pretty good in 1 and 2. It's quite terrible in 3 and 4 typically. Right here, just kind of in no man's land. It's not bad though. You can see they're pretty much broke even on time. But eventually they're going to be all the way up the track. And this is where you have most of the bumps. And right there you can see that once you hit that bump, it is hard to save it. So be careful over the bumps if you run the top in 1 and 2. That bump is killer on exit. I don't really like running the top in 1 and 2 because of that, but I think eventually you'll have to. Be prepared. That's all I can say is be prepared. Or just try to stay lower if you can. But if you have to go up there, just be ready. As you can see, once it goes, it's gone. They'll try to do it again here, a little deeper entry. This typically gets better. As the run goes on, the car lifts up, tires come up to pressure. It gets easier, but still, especially on a restart early on at the end of the race, my goodness, that top is sketchy, and you'll see a lot of people crash up there. So that middle's pretty good in 1 and 2 to make a lot of short run speed. Bottom of the track in 3 and 4 is usually pretty good. Top of the track in 3 and 4 is fast too later in the run. It's pretty easy to manage up there because it's relatively smooth. But the longer you can stay on the bottom and make speed, honestly, the better. You know, like just keep it on the bottom, keep it rolling. Low and slow, as we like to say, but sometimes slower is faster, and it'll be really good to you. As you can see now, top has gotten a little better, but still, just can't really complete the corner. And I think that's what's happened with this track ever since the refresh. The top is just not really as good as it used to be. I'm thinking it'll be there eventually in a race, but it might come in and then go back away once everybody starts laying down rubber. So my suggestion would be to really practice on the bottom, move up to the middle at some point, but I wouldn't honestly spend too much time up top. We're going to have some guys that marry the top and run up there the whole race, and that's fine. They'll set their cars up for that, but I think if you can make speed on the bottom, that's how you're going to pass. Because if everybody is just ripping the fence, how do you get around them if you can't work the bottom? So we'll do a couple more laps here. Try to look at a green flag pit road entry, I guess. Even though I don't think I've ever seen one here on this sim. But we'll talk about it because it's the single pit road version, which sometimes can catch people out. We'll slow it down right here, and let's take a look at these cones. So here's your commitment line right here, and you've got this set of cones. So check this out. So you've got pit road entry right here, but you've got pit road exit right there. See that blue cone? So that's your pit road exit. This is your pit road entry. So that means, and please correct me if I'm wrong, like I said, I have never done a green flag pit road entry at Bristol in iRacing. So I could be wrong, but what this means is, and this is why I think people lose so much time under green pitting on this sim, you have to enter off of turn 2. Even if your pit stall is not back here, this is the entry point. And you can see you got this blue line right here. You cannot cross that. Like, you are committed. You got to roll all the way around the corner at speed. And yeah, there's no cone. See, on the dual pit road version of this track, you'll have a yellow cone over here, which means that if you're on the front stretch, you pit on the front stretch. If you're on the back stretch, you pit on the back stretch. I guess because maybe it's the way that things work under caution with the dual pit roads that they can't do that for official races. I don't exactly know why we run the single pit road version. Maybe somebody can shed some light on that who knows more about it than I do. But all that to say, if you pit under green, you've got to enter off of 2 and exit off of 2. And you've got to run pit road speed all the way around the corner, all the way around both pit roads. Now here's my pit road exit right here, but I cannot merge. I can't merge right here. I cannot merge until here. So imagine a pit road pitting sequence, a green flag pit road sequence, where people are coming off of 2 to pit, and people are exiting off of 2 because they're finished pitting. Again, never seen that play out. It reminds me of that Dodge Stadium in old NASCAR games, you know, where you get one of these going on with the AI cars, and it was a disaster. It's kind of what we got going on here. So I don't think you're going to have to worry about that in a race. If you get green flag pit stops in an official race, please let me know, because I will just be so happy and so thrilled for you, because typically these races are marred by yellows, which is to be expected. It's Bristol. Um, but yeah, so if you do have to pit under green, you got to go all the way around. If you're pitting under yellow, you got to go all the way around. So just don't forget that. Don't pull a Mark Martin and pull off early into the wrong pit road. All the way around. All right. So all of that was a very long-winded way to say pitting here under green is no good. Okay. Let's get out of the car and let's break this down. It's kind of hard to talk about it while I'm in the car because, again, these laps happen very quickly. There's not a whole lot of time to think. So let's get out of the car, break it down, look at the line, then puts and all that, and give you a better idea of what to do at both ends of the track. So going down the front stretch here, biggest thing is get out to the wall. Don't be afraid of the wall. Excuse me. If you tap the wall, if you graze the wall on your ascent out to it, that's fine. We all do it. It's just part of this without any type of reverb or understanding of how close you are to the wall beside just your judgment. It's hard to get that right. These cars are very forgiving with the damage now, so if you glance at the wall, don't worry about it. Some people knock it down every lap at Darlington, and you would think they'd be slower, but they were still fine. So the cars are tanks. So we're going into turn one here, coming off the wall at the Coke sign and lifting right at the end of the Coke sign. So very, very early lift, or so it would appear to be early, like the corner's way up there. But again, you're going so fast. From here to here is what, second, 2 seconds? It's not very long. So lifting at the end of the Coke sign, immediately just sliding up the brake, 5-10%, and turning in such a way that once I land right there, I am on my way to the bottom. Boom. Left front, all but touching that yellow line. I'm free rolling now, no gas, no brake, lots of free roll, and then start picking up the throttle right there, in between the Coke and the Xfinity signage. And then slowly work into it. Bristol, you want to progressively work back into the throttle and then commit. You don't want to be on it, off it, on and off it. You want to be working your way to it and then full throttle. 60%, 70-ish percent, 80, 85, 90, 100. Up off the corner, track out to the wall. Into 3, already starting to turn off the wall a bit while I'm full throttle. Like I talked about, this is the sharper end of the track, so you really want to get down to the paint as early as possible to get that left front in that groove and that paint to pull it around the corner. So a little bit more of a straighter, shallower entry into turn 3, lifting right at the beginning of the ZMAX sign, basically similar to turn 1, immediately on the brake, 5-10%. Carry that into and through the entry. Left front, almost on the paint, just about on the paint. Now it's on the paint. And hooking that. Hook, hook, hook. Throttling up right in between the Coke and the Xfinity signs again. Or at the end of the Coke sign on fresh tires. Will take longer to get to 100% throttle off of 4 because this is, again, the sharper end of the track, so just harder to hook up the rear. A little front limited to begin with, so don't want to push it loose. Past the commitment line, or the secondary commitment line, and full throttle before the start of the restart zone. A couple laps at speed here. To the bottom, throttle up. Very smooth. Woohoo, except for that part. Be careful with that. Just want to get in a rhythm. Really want to get into a rhythm. Find your lift points, find your throttle points, and just nail it every single lap. Sometimes I'll find myself going off the pitch of the car. The increase in RPM, the decrease in RPM, and it's like you get in that rhythm and you sense it. You know when to get on it, you know when to get off of it. And you're just in that groove, and then the caution comes out and you're like, it screws you up, and then it takes another 20 laps after the restart to get back into it. Very rhythmic racetrack, as are all short tracks. We've got a nice 1-2-3 punch of short tracks here to end Season 3 and roll into Season 1 with Gateway, which is a bigger track, but it races like a short track, Bristol, and then New Hampshire. So that's the bottom, pretty status quo there. Just look Yeah, going up the tracks again. Just got to watch those bumps. You can see the car really compress and bottom out. Just watch those. Much smoother in 3 and 4. Big diamond right there. Good straight drive up off. So right there, exited a little bit lower out of the worst of the bumps, and I felt like that was better. That was helpful. Off at 4. So you can make some good speed up here. Just watch running up here on fresh tires, or even later in the run. Just watch your throttle and exit. Very easy to slam that rear, bottom out, really bottoming out the shock before the diffuser, and snapping the back of the car out. Looking at pit road entry again with the single pit road, you are entering in the middle of 1 and 2, right here. Here's your commitment line. This is your exit. So when you're exiting pit road, you are merging after this blue cone and line. You cannot merge before it. You'll get an unsafe pit exit, and you'll have some sort of stop and hold penalty. Rolling down pit road here, just to call it out, cannot cross this solid blue line. Have to stay below that to be compliant with the pit road. Around this bend here, cannot cross that, or else you will receive an unsafe pit exit and a penalty. And all the way around you go, losing tons of time in the process. So really, if you at some point in the week get a long green flag run, do not be one of the first cars to pit, because more than likely somebody will screw up in the pit sequence. They will bring out a yellow, and all of those people who pitted will be at least 2, if not 3 laps down. So if your tires are not blowing out, which if you manage them, they shouldn't, but they are wearing, go as long as you can. So manage some tire at the front. Make sure you got some good tire left for the long run if you get it, and stretch it as far as you can, because more than likely you'll be on the good end of that if caution comes out. But otherwise, though, I think that covers it. That is a quick run around Bristol. Very quick laps. We're going super fast around here, so definitely get your practice in before your NIS races start. You don't have a million opportunities this week like you do on a normal week when they open, so make sure you're prepared. Come to the track ready to go, and have some good races to close out the end of Season 3. Thank you so much for watching. As always, please like, subscribe, and comment if you're enjoying the content that we're putting out through the TCSP channel. We'll continue to do that moving forward, and look forward to having you and everybody along for the ride. Thanks again. Have a great week at Bristol, and we'll see you to start Season 4. Take care.